Hey everyone and welcome. Are you like me getting sick of being told that you owe something to someone for something you never did and they never were affected by?
And I do believe that we have rotten politics, and I'm not using that as an exaggeration.
Now, from that I can gather you probably know what I'm going to be talking about here, but I'm going to show you a massive debunk at the end of this. This is a TikToker, though, to start with, who's trying to say that people in America shouldn't celebrate Independence Day because black people aren't free and independent, whilst being free and independent in a studio, well dressed, looking like she gets quite a lot of money. The hypocrisy is just astounding. Have a look at this.
It's 4th of July weekend. There's so much to celebrate, right? No, there really isn't, because the truth of the matter is the freedom and independence that the 4th of July holiday is supposed to represent never included all Americans or all people.
Are you not free? Are you not independent?
In America, right? So back in 1776, black folks were still enslaved. So that's
back in whatever number you want to pick, other people were also enslaved. It was a thing at the time, but no one else seems to be getting this sort of backlash. Isn't it amazing? Isn't it amazing? There's current active slave markets in the Arab world. A lot of them are selling black people. How did they get them? Ask yourself them.
That's not anything to celebrate. So what I want to challenge you to do this weekend, and you should really do this every single day if you want to live an anti-racist lifestyle, but specifically for this weekend, instead of spending all your money on the red, white, and blue everything, ask yourself, where am I benefiting from the labor of black people?
Only if you ask yourself where you've benefited from the labour of white people, or the labour of Chinese people, or the labour of brown people. Maybe you should reflect on that, but she won't.
And what am I giving to them in return?
She's on the internet. We invented that. She's in Western clothes. We invented them. The list could go on and on and on and on. But they'll never thank you for what you've done. But they want you to give you money for what they've done. Let me just say this. Labour now in America, if you are labouring, you're getting paid. So therefore, that's what you're getting for it. Payment for labour. I know it's a shocking and a horrible thing to think about for you, but that's how it works. You get a job, you get paid. If you don't get a job, you don't. Moving on.
Whether it's free labour, unpaid labour like social media, or whether it's
social media isn't unpaid labour, by the way. Unless you're me, of course. Then it's unpaid. If you want to help out the channel, help me keep going, there are links in the description. If you can't do that, subscribe if you haven't already. Like, share, you know the gubbins. Help me defeat YouTube.
Equitable paid labor. Where are you benefiting from labor from us? And what are you giving in return?
And what are you giving in return for the freedom and independence that you now parade claiming to be a victim?
Usually, if it's for social media, we give you specific directions on what to do after you consume our content. So do that today.
No. How about that one? No. How about you earn your own money? You seem to be doing quite well earning your own money. So why do you need other people's money? Why is that? Why is that? She seems to be doing quite well considering she's a victim and she's got no freedom and independence either. The hypocrisy is very, very strong, isn't it? Now, this is one side of the argument. The other side of the argument is even weirder and more clown world. Have a listen to this fraggle. Now, this is a lady that moved to Europe from America, and you'll never guess what she's complaining about. Now, in the US, she says, I am constantly being asked about my ethnicity, says the 26-year-old project manager. She has to state her ethnicity on government forms. When people see her skin colour, they unabashedly ask about her roots. But during her 8-month stay in Europe, people showed no interest in her ethnicity. On the contrary. Shock horror, everyone. People said, why do you always bring up your origin? Yeah, I agree with that one. Your parents are Haitian, so you're Haitian, Nadia tells Business Insider. Nobody cared about the fact that she neither felt Haitian nor a typical American or European. And we're supposed to guess that, are we? No one seemed to care was them saying, I don't give a toss about your roots. We care about you. Content of character, merit, those sort of things. But as a black woman, she said. So she identifies as just a black woman. She doesn't class herself as Haitian, she doesn't class herself as American or European, but a black woman. Now, she's also said people in Europe were just very confused about my identity. No, they probably weren't confused. They just were confused why you kept going on and on and on about your roots. I bet you were incessant with it, and that's why you got confusion. In the US, I am not just a woman. Is she not? But I'm a black woman, and that's different how? It's skin colour. Or are you claiming that there's a difference? This is an important part of my self-perception in this world. That's on you, isn't it? Your self-perception, if you're having a problem with others not perceiving you the way you do, maybe it's because nobody sees and has a perception of you the same as you have in your mind. Maybe that's the issue. As someone who grew up with strong understanding of my identity, I was surprised and exhausted by the indifference of the Europeans. In other words, how dare they not be racist towards me? Is that not what she's asking for? She felt constantly duped and therefore left Europe. So because they didn't agree with her and weren't racist and didn't discriminate against her at all, she thought to herself, well, I'm not staying here, this place is horrible, I'm going back home. Is this supposed to actually be well, hard done by? What she's effectively saying is the Europeans are nowhere near as race orientated as I am. Ridiculous, isn't it? So now's the time that I'm going to debunk it all. Now, it's not me personally, but it is very, very good words. Have a listen to what this gentleman says.
Black people sold black people, white people just paid for it. Black people sold black people, white people just paid for it.
I guarantee those two won't like this one.
My great-great-grandmother was sold by her father to another black man, who then sold her to who became her husband and had kids. Not a white person in sight. Well, so while people are being stuck on, especially when I hear this dumbass thing as reparations for slavery, I'm like, dude, slavery was everywhere in the world.
Yeah.
There was slavery in the Arab world, in the Persian world, in the Greek world, in Europe. White, blonde, blue-eyed Polish people were slaves to Germans. White, blonde, blue-eyed Germans. So what are you talking about? Like slavery is something that only black... You guys play too much respect to racism.
Yeah.
If we were all white or we were all black, we're still going to discriminate
You know
against
what we
each other.
discriminate against? Eye color.
Thank you very much.
Proving discrimination isn't a racial thing, is it? It's actually in preference. Everybody, every race, every culture has an in preference. And if you say that they don't, you're lying. And you're lying to me, you're lying to everyone around you, and you're lying to yourself. There is always an in preference. Everybody likes to be around and to have the same culture around them as they are used to. That's not a bad thing, and it's also not discrimination. So I disagree with the discrimination term altogether. Let's continue.
Human nature.
It's human nature.
Yeah.
We'll find something, oh, your ear is too big. I tell people, as long as you're a competition, you're a threat. And as long as you're a threat, somebody will try to do something to remove you. It doesn't matter if you're white or black. And on the opposite side, as long as you can add value, doesn't matter if you're black or if you're white, you will be appreciated or recognized.
Boom. Very true. Running on a system of merit like we used to, he would be very, very true. It's not so much now with DEI and diversity hires, etc., where the wrong person gets a job just because of immutable characteristics. Now, I did say before that the ones before won't like this. Well, they've already come out and started throwing absolutely weird claims about clown world claims, to be honest. Like this gentleman here, Zach. He puts the Africans that sold other Africans, we're not selling them to be slaves. Okay. And have a listen to this. They were actually selling them, you read her, to be closer to the family or to actually have their freedom. So they were enslaved and then sold to be free with the family. Why are the family enslaved, Zach? Oh, that's right. It's because other Africans have enslaved them. Absolute clown world, isn't it? That he must have not just disconnected his brain, he must have taken it out and kicked it down the street first before that one. Let me know what you think. I'd like to know your opinion. Stay sane, everyone. I'll see you on the next one.